Man, I'm just so disappointed with all of you. Just kidding! We have a big range of such amazing designs. You've sent in 24 different designs in total. Some of you have sent in several, and first I thought that I'm not sure if I can take more than one submission per person, and I probably shouldn't, but I'm gonna do all of them. So we'll have all the submissions you sent in. One of you sent in 4. That's a bit much, but let's go. In any case, I am very amazed over how beautiful designs we have in here. So today, this is the first episode of the Season 1, Episode 1 of the Trials. This time we will go and look through the lineup, each of your designs that will pop up during this challenge. And if you for some reason miss your design from here, well, get in contact with me ASAP. Huge thanks to Admiral Super Dave, Captain Y, Commander Jacob, Lieutenant Albert Brecke, Lieutenant Asteria, Lieutenant C2, Lieutenant Cravey, Lieutenant Parabagri, Lieutenant Talaras, and Lieutenant Vincent Veritas. Thanks a lot for supporting the channel. Let's go and look at these ships. Well, as you can see, we got some pretty amazing designs here. Let's just have a quick look at them all. This is a highly anticipated build. Oh, and here we have a ship from another game. Like the video if you know what game it's from. Here we have, this is such a beautiful shape. Here we have a more conventional one, looks very quick. And wow, this is a thick design. And oh my god, here is the ornithopter. So I was told we will have an ornithopter popping in here, and here it is. UFO style build, very nice. Ah, the penguin. You can see it looks like a penguin. And here we also have some extra engines. Will not be participating, but they look cool and are animated. Here we got the beautiful classic plane design with a top wing and a very fightery stealth bomber type of look. Ooh, this is a fat one from Pizza Summoner, I believe, with some pretty darn cool interiors. And here we get a big missile equipped guy. This looks dangerous. And there we have, ooh, this will bounce off many shells with that heavy armor cover. Biplane design, love the classics. Here we got another UFO type design. A helicopter type bomber design with some really cool custom missiles. And there we get a VTOL plane, looks very futuristic and cool. Interesting design. And here we get a very thick airship type bomber. And here we get another very thick boat airship type bomber. We'll see about the effectiveness, but I must say I dig that aesthetics. And here we get a beautiful plane type bomber with a cool, I don't know what these type of tail wings are called, but I like them. We can see another one there. And a beautiful, here is the commissioned officer, Captain Y, has submitted this beautiful build. I just love the text popping up with the logo. And here we get a beautiful little bomber that also comes with a little platform that explains stuff. So we'll be diving into them a little bit more in detail, or a lot more in detail right now. So that's the overview at least. And some of these has a really beautiful cockpit view, look at that. And if you are feeling that you're lacking a bit of structure, well, that's probably because you didn't see the entry little video explaining about this challenge, but basically I have asked you, the community, to build me a couple of bombers, because my bombers were bad and outdated. So there would a set of rules, has to cost between 16 and 32,000, and should be able to engage with a range of targets. This was previously explained in that episode, so if you haven't watched that, watch that precursor episode. And yes, it is too late to participate, but make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that you're in the Discord, and you'll be able to participate in the next Trials season. Alright, so let's look a little bit closer at this lineup. This is a design from Adhering, which has the name Storhiana right now. It costs 35,800 materials, so it's a good bit too expensive. It has a very much sci-fi vibe to it. It reminds me a lot of what is called Firefly, a science fiction series. Interesting with this little... Is it on a spin block? No. It has guns in the wings. Interesting. But anyways, looking pretty cool. Has a firepower DR-24-2. In any case, I noted down each ship's firepower and cost also. This is a build from Kovrax, also known as the Secret Advisor. And I'm not sure how many iterations I have gotten of this. It feels like I saved more than like 100 different iterations. Because Kovrax has been working on this a lot. Like, he made so many updates, he made so many fixes, and he has really coded a breadboard for hours and hours to make it act exactly as he wants. I also got a text with the list of features for the Manta War. So, it has evasive pitch up and down maneuver when facing enemy ship, flapping Manta wings, as you can see there is a little thing there. And it also has tail to make it look organic, so the tail will be flapping a little bit too. Completely insane. Very cool. Sets the tail perpendicular to sea to place tail sonar to detect underwater targets and get a good bearing on them, as you can see here. That's pretty cool too. Switches APS shell types to super cavity against submarine targets, regular against normal ships and aircraft. If rolling, wings are straight. That's cool. Disables evasive maneuvers when below 1,200 meters, and bearing is negative 30 to 30 degrees. Set accuracy and synchronization. Yeah, it has some different settings like that, and it shoots all guns below 900 meters, and this is a diff gun build. So as you probably know, I'm even not sure if this is actually... No, this is probably just mimicked alloy on top. This is probably... No, we have some tetras here. Or some... No, okay. We actually got some blocks there, but I guess many of these alloy blocks maybe actually wood. Because the Secret Advisor loves building with only wood to make it cheap and that. So it's a diff. It's like the ships, they're huge. You can see it's larger than many other submissions, and that's because it's mostly wood, and it has diff guns. So it also has the highest firepower rating among all of the submissions. You can see 64, that's the absolute max we've seen, so that's pretty cool. And it also turns off all the engines and sets the power locked with the valves or something like that. Yeah, so it keeps the pressure, and it goes into storage mode, so it's just gonna sit in the water and wait for an enemy to appear. So it's not burning any materials when it's out of that. And also, because it's a diff craft, it also has a maneuver where it goes away to 5 kilometer range and reloads its guns if it's not able to deal with the target during all of the shots. So that's pretty cool. We have a little crammed cockpit thing there, but that's like diff guns. And one thing that could be interesting to check is to see what type of... Okay, so we have squash heads with some frag and high explosives on it. So we have a really mixed shell going on there. Pretty cool. Next up, if you know what ship this is, please write it in a comment fast, because I'm gonna tell you. This is the Isanth 5 from StarMade, and this happens to be Jono's second submission. It's a little extra submission just for fun, as we can see, and it does provide that fun. It does, however, have some... It's not looking AoG, and it's really blocky because it is the Isanth design, but I think it's so cool we get the StarMade ship, the StarMade default old pirate Isanth 5, like what's happening in from the depth. So it will be funny to see that. Anyway, here we have Jono 1928's real submission. We're honored to present the XA-1 multi-role tactical bomber for your consideration. This document is classified. Oops. Please delete after reading it to round out the blueprint cost. Yeah, that makes sense. So this unit costs exactly 20,000 materials, allowing you to field a squadron of 5 for a mere 100,000 materials. We are sure you will see the advantage over our competitors, who can field only 3. So yeah, this is a low-cost build, and that will give him some extra points in some later considerations when we go through the different stages. So we have a propulsion here, pierce-resistant fuel engine. That's pretty cool. Powering very efficient deadly blades, and that's probably propellers. Deadly blades are removed. And redundant jet engines. This system is highly resistant to both flak, high explosive, and even frag, as well as highly efficient. Wow. Furthermore, the plane is capable of landing and takeoffs from both land and sea to save even more fuel. That's amazing. Armament: the bomber carries 2,000 millimeters cram cannons, firing every 26 seconds. Wow. Ooh, or it can charge it up to 50 seconds. I see, it can fire it at half packing to increase the firepower, or something like that probably. This is enough to devastate the heaviest armor on land and sea, and to penetrate the defensive laser systems and civs. Wow. Well, I think that Jono is probably a copywriter at other days of the week. Well, range-based fuses and 25 millimeters explosive radios that might make limited effective strikes against enemy aircraft. So it has loads of different uses for those crowns. Pretty cool. Detection: the bomber has 360 full spectrum detection suite covering the thermal, radar, visual detection with multiple redundant sensors. Inter-vehicle communication allows detection to be shared with bomber squads and surface assets. Furthermore, these systems allow the anti-missile system to counter all kinds of missile guidance systems. Well, we're gonna put that to the test. Be rest assured about that. Multi-role system: strategic radar for scouting missions, repair bot and tentacle to promote unit and squad independence, walkable cockpit, origin block in the tail for easy spawning, generous material storage for long-range operations. Well, that sounds pretty amazing. We're gonna delete that before we resave it later. And as we can see, it looks absolutely fantastic. It looks really cool. Just gonna see, yeah, exactly what I thought. It can fire at 50% packing to reduce the load speed. Makes a lot of sense. And we have some detection going on there. Looking pretty cool. Even has the ability to remove some fog of war. The missiles look like drills. Do you remember before in the Army of Gmodism, each and every design we made had the unicorn horn? So this is definitely homage to the early Army of Gmodism designs. Maybe we should bring that back. Write me in the comments if you think we should bring that back. In any case, I think these are some rubber parts to make it stand on the ground without taking damage. Makes a lot of sense. And I must say, this is a really amazing design. I think it looks super cool. It's really not what I'm used to seeing here. We have a beautiful cat ear person sitting here. Isn't that nice? A walkable, sittable cockpit. I guess. Oh, look. Yes. Okay. We can actually get down there. That's pretty cool. That's definitely some bonus points later in the aesthetics assessment. Very nice. We'll be moving on. So here we have a build from Kinda Sexy. Here we got a beautiful, even cheaper design. So this is only 17k. So here we're really going down to almost close, only 1000 materials above the minimal limit. So we have a really efficient and tight design going on here. And we can see that here we are relying on laser guided missiles. So all of them seems to be laser guided missiles. Pretty safe and cool bet to go for. I'm sure it's gonna be pretty handy in taking out various amounts of targets. Right, having the Army of Gmodism colors too, so that's great. Here we have Light of the Worlds with, I don't know, this is a super weird L. I think it's interesting. I don't know exactly how to make that, but I just pasted it. Anyways, I'm surprised the game even reads it. But this is a just also 32k ship, and this is World Star Drop, is it called, right? And it has even more of those weird letters. The armaments, let's see here. So we have a torpedo here for submarine and marine targets. And for some reason we're going with ion engines. We have some cool, what are called, flares here. Yes, that's a sticky flare. And radar simulator to get some missiles off one's back. We got some really crammed interiors here, very interesting. We've got loads of steam and stuff like that to generate electricity, I believe, because we have batteries and we have a big pack system here for the size. This is a pretty big pack system. So this is a pack bomber. Seems to be using impact. Impact. Very cool. Well, should probably be able to crush all sorts of enemies there. Very interesting to see how it will perform. Anyways, we're gonna move on. So hello to Netrameira's hummingbird. That happens to be an ornithopter. So an ornithopter is basically a thing that flies by flapping its wings. That's pretty cool. This thing actually, I think it actually flies with the help of flapping its wings. Now I don't want to unpause the game because all of the ships are here and some will collide, and we're gonna go through all of them and check them out. So yeah, I can only quickly, if you do like this you can see they move. That's bad, I shouldn't have done that. Anyways, it has Army of Gmodism here, looking pretty cool. Has the flag, all the decals, all the colors, looking absolutely splendid. And above that we even have a pretty beautiful looking cockpit, as you can see here. Look at that, doesn't this look pretty amazing? We have even some personnel sitting around here, and one is drinking coffee, the other one is having some kind of panic. Well, will be interesting to see. We have, I don't know if this is only for decoration. Is it an APS based system? We have some pretty medium steam in here too, that's interesting. And yes, there is APS for sure. Down here we have a, what do we have? We have a squash head for this one. So this is an APS bomber. I wonder if this is a diff bomber. It probably is. We can just dive in here, we can see the firing pieces, yeah. This is a diff bomber too, so that's cool, like the Manta War. And it's looking super cool. I'm just very excited about seeing this actually flopping its wings and getting about and see what happens with it, because well, it's looking very funny. So if we're moving on to Gilded's second submission. So here we have AoG Invader. It's just below the allowed limit here, and you can see we got some lights and stuff, and it looks like a flying sorcerer. And we've got this pretty cool little the brushed logo there, but it's almost made 3D thanks to these decorations here. Well, bare bones but functional interior, And it's gonna be funny to see how it's working. Next up, we have Gilden's third submission. Yes, they're not in order, they're in order in ascending by name. And the same kind of cost almost. So here we have actual magnet explosive bombs. So here we have a bomber. As you can see, it has a full bomb bay going down here. And this is an interesting choice of blocks. Is it like firing pieces above that? I don't know if the bombs themselves are gonna look like firing pieces dropping down. Will be very interesting to see in action. So there we have a missile system popping along there, and this thing is called the Penguin because it looks like a penguin. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Gilden also sent me this with the cool 3D logos here with gears and stuff. These are prefabs that we can use in our future projects, and these are steam engines. And as you can see here, if we go inside, you can see some of the steam parts going on here. It's a turbine. Yeah, it's a steam turbine. Now I don't want to unpause the games too much because then, okay, a little bit quickly. You can see they're turning. But anyways, they are here to look cool basically. This thing I believe is empty and just rotating, and the other ones here, they're generating some electricity using steam like that. They're looking very splendid, however, but that's not what we're here to look for. We shall be looking more at this thing, which is Gilden's first submission, B8 Bomber. And this one has 4 propellers going along here, looking pretty splendid. And we have some pretty cool interiors that I'm going to be very excited to take a little look at. If we sit here, you can see it looking pretty cool. And we even have the Matros in control of the bombers, bomb cam showing up here. So we can see the action in real time, which will be very delightful. And to go with that, we of course have bombs. As you can see here, we have radar seeking bombs with the thrusters. So it's kind of a VLM system, but it's shooting downwards, and that should probably be pretty, well, should probably hit the targets pretty well. And some cool logos right here. So yeah, looking splendid, and on top of here we have some balloons in order to get out of the water if we'll need to. Next up we have this thing, which is AoG's White Phosphorus Bomber. 22,000 materials, and let's see what armaments we got here. Ooh, we're having APS and some articulated jets here. We also have some really cool looking missiles here. You can see this looking super modern like that. Let's see if they're the same. Infrared seekers, high explosive. Well, I'm sure this is gonna pack a punch. And I believe we have 3... Is it... It's probably diff guns, right? I think it is. 3 diff guns, yeah. I should have anticipated this. I didn't really think about it, but probably diff guns on bombers is probably the best system. I was thinking like missile bombers, that's probably what I would have built, but we're gonna see them in actions with the diff guns there. So, well, bomber class is a little bit broad as we discussed earlier. It needs to perform the tasks that a traditional bomber could. So we need to be able to deal heavy strike against multiple of targets, and it does not need to be very good at shooting interceptors and stuff like that. So that's why we get big heavy weapons. And back in the day, the only way you could deal that type of damage was basically bombs, if you were not having big mortars and howitzers and big artillery systems, and they could only be fitted on ships or on the field or on trains. Why not trains? War trains are cool. In any case, but a modern bomber can also do some other stuff, like some even think that like tactical ground support like AC-130 is also close to a bomber basically, because it I think it actually has a howitzer on board. Never mind. It's looking very cool. It's looking very sleek and very fast. Even has the flags. The colors are there. Looking very amazing. So we'll see how Oval, so white phosphor bomber, competes here. And I'm not sure why it's white phosphorus. Because they're armor piercing high explosive. Maybe it's just a cool name. Let's be moving on. This is probably one of my favorite cockpits. Look at this. Look at this. I don't know if this is gonna do something. We'll see when we test it out later. But look, it has a little target display area. Looking absolutely splendid. And this is from Pizza Summoners. This is AS Sardalk. It's the working name of it. And it has huge amounts of firepower. I think it's the second highest. And it's a really fat boy. But we're gonna see how much pack punch. Wow, this thing turns. I just had to check. Yeah, it looked like it would turn. So here we got some really cool little decoration here. Looking absolutely splendid. Well, that's looking all cool. I think this is a cram, right? It is. It is a cram, and it's what type of cram do we have? Frag. So it's an AP frag shell. Cool. Let's check the other one if that's also. Yes, that's also AP high explosive frag. Cool. We're gonna see how well this performs, but it's looking absolutely splendid. It's like somewhere in between a spaceship and something, I don't know, old, steampunky. Anyways, here we are at our next design. This is made by Rush, and this is the Butterfly Wasp. So you can see here we got some detection in the front, looking pretty modern, and we have a big array of missiles. These are thumper heads. They are laser beam riders. That's pretty cool. They can go underwater, they can go above water. These missiles will not be stopped by anything. So that's looking pretty splendid. We got some jet engines there. It's looking fast, and it even has, is this a, I believe this is a sonar boy. It is a sonar boy. Well, that's really cool. Will be interesting to see this detection in action. Really crammed, really utilitarian, but it's looking absolutely dangerous. Having some auxiliary guns there to help gun down some smaller targets. Right, now we're moving on, and this is Sean Reed's first submission it is. And here you can see it is called the Dagri. And it has, I think this is a diff one as well. As you can see here, we got two types of shells for this build. Armor piercing high explosive and armor piercing high explosive, but really accurate. Interesting. Look, it has a smoke for protection too, that's cool. And this thing, revolving blast guns on top here, that's scary. I'm gonna be very interested to see how it's gonna use them, but well, will be interesting for sure. Down here we also have a bomb explosive warhead with magnet. Oh, I forgot you can use several magnets. Can you? I thought, does it make it better? Well, in any case, that's really cool. It has double magnet bombs. And these are some big bombs too, so I'm sure this will pack a punch. Very interesting. Now we go down to, now Sean Reed is the one who has submitted 4 designs. And, you know, I didn't say stop, and I'm happy I didn't, because they look so cool, so funny, that we have a different array. So Sean Reed has been pretty active with making builds for this. This is Sean Reed's 4th submission, the Sunspot, and it's a biplane design. You can see we got a lot of revolving blast guns, or as I like to call them, revolting blast guns, because they can be a little bit scary. We even got a little, it seems like we can land with this thing, so it can probably stand on ground, chilling around. And we got missiles too, short range thrusters, active radar seekers. Wait, what? Cool. Right, reinforced bodies. So this is like This side is kinetic basically, and this side is explosive. Interesting. Well, I never used the for kinetics. I never used the active radar seekers as a front. That's interesting. Will be interesting to see how that works. Well, looking pretty cool. Let's be moving on. This is Shorn Ridge second submission. This is the Jin. So, interesting. What do we have here? We have some thrusters in the front, in the back. This is a flying saucer type of design. We got thumpers and explosive. Interesting choice. It has short range thruster and thumper, so it deals thumper and explosive damage. It also have mines in case it misses. Yeah, I'm gonna be very interested to see how that works in practice. It also looks like it's burning a little bit. And there we go. We now move to Shorn Ridge third submission. And this is the Aspirant. What was this called? Jin, right. This is the Aspirant helicopter. So we have a helicopter. Helicopter can also be a bomber class, I thought. And it has really cool custom looking missiles here. Short range thrusters, laser designators. So that's a kinetic missile. Both are actually kinetic missiles. That's an interesting choice. Because of the size, I'm sure they're gonna deal pretty much a lot of damage. We have a little auxiliary micro sniper here, so that probably is very useful to deal some extra damage. Well, will be very interesting to see that one in action too. Next up in the lineup we have Shotgun's Dart, 23,000 materials, which makes it one of the cheaper designs submitted here. That's gonna give some extra points later if it performs the same. You know, firepower is very important, but we're gonna try and judge them by the cost too. So we're gonna judge some different points in the different episodes where we test them. So that's basically one factor. So having a cheaper craft can be beneficial, but if it lacks firepower, it will not be beneficial. So it depends, but it's gonna be interesting to see. Now I'm a little bit confused what types of armaments we have here. We have a little 30mm cannon in front here. Here we got some missiles. Wow, that's a lot of components, man. Very cool. Looks very versatile. Active radar seeker going on there. And these are probably magnets. Okay, so we got some small bombs here too. Very useful, and we have some pretty cool VTOL looking parts there to make it hover. And this one actually has a little cockpit here, so we can sit inside of it there and enjoy the view. Interesting to use this as part of the design here. This is probably for balloons, yeah, so if we need to start from the water. Right, moving on, we go to Scuvimation's first submission, having some flags and stuff. Is this cram cannons? Well, in any case, this is the Trival, and I'm not sure what Val means, but it has some cool guns going on there, some cool detection. Do we have an EMP insulated thing? Well, we got some nice guns there, and this missile looks absolutely beautiful. Active radar seekers, explosive frag. Wow, looking nice. We have a lot of 30mm on this thing. Wow, looking very airshipy. And in the front here we got APS. This is indeed APS, and this fires. Oh, so here we have the shells. This one is an armor-piercing frag with pen depth fuse, high explosive. Wow, okay, high explosive. Why do we have solid warhead bodies in the back? Is it so that Lamb should not take it out? I'm not sure actually. And then we have grenade launcher. That's pretty cool. So we have a shaped charge grenade launcher. That's very interesting. Where do we have the grenade launchers? I'm not sure. Oh, it's probably this thing, right? That's really cool. So we have a little grenade launcher going on here. Wow, will be very interesting to see this one in combat too. The 3-1. So let's move on to Scuvimation's second submission. This is the Pigeon. Oh no. So here we can see it has a very cool boat looking design. airship boat looking design, and I really dig the aesthetics of this. I think it would be really cool to walk around on this thing while it's performing its duties. This looks like it would fit on the Gimli even. Very cool. And by the way, you can submit ships to battle the Gimli. Check that episode if you want to be a part of that challenge, because as said, we don't take submissions for this challenge anymore, of course, because the deadline was a long time ago. So, but the Gimli is open submission, so that you can submit whenever you're watching this video, probably. I don't promise forever, but there is an open submission for the Gimli battles. Well, the 30mm cannons on this build looks really cool. And this is a cram bomber, if you couldn't guess that. Having an airship and stuff like that. Oh, we even have an EMP insulated AI. That's super useful. So what do we have here? Crams. We can even turn off the hood here so we can see 13mm. That's interesting. And it's pretty fast reload time. And we got some in the back too here. So this particular one is a hardener high explosive, and in the back, let's see if it's the same. No, it's a frag one too. So they penetrate and deal some frag damage, and they are bomb shoots, so they won't be firing fast. But if you didn't know that, the speed of cram shells does not affect the penetrative capabilities. So basically having a bomb shoot shell does the same penetration as something else. From the depth is weird like that. Anyways, we should be moving on. Here we have the Cringe's first submission. And this is actually a little bit over the cost. It's 68 materials over allowed cost, but that's under 100, so I'm just going to pretend that it's not over, and it will not receive minus points for being so little over, because I'm pretty sure that's just a mistake. Anyways, as we can see here, we got a beautiful little cockpit going on here, looking absolutely amazing there, and the engines look so decorative too, as you can see. Very decorative engines. And alongside of that, I have no idea what types of armaments we have here. Like, oh, here we have missile systems. Okay, we got missiles. Do we have some bomb bays that will open in a magical way? Well, oh no, here they are, right? Do they shoot downwards? No? Well, I guess we'll see later when it's dealing with enemies. They are in any ways riding with laser designated explosive missiles here. So we have fins, one turn. So these are guided bombs. So they're not missiles. A lot of people used missiles instead, and that's absolutely okay. But these are actually guided bombs. So that will be very interesting to see how that works. This also features a pretty fast fire gun. Let's see how fast fire. 500 RPM. Wow, that's cool. I'm gonna see what type of shell we're packing here. We have a high explosive spammer. Well, small caliber high explosive spammer will be really cool to see. And I just love this little dome here. Really World War II canopy type of turret. Looking very cool, logos and all. So we're gonna see how that turns out. Next on, we have another one of these beautiful tail designs, and it's the Cringe's second submission. And here we have a well, a little lower cost vehicle, not a lot cheap like that, but we have a lot of missiles on this. As you can see here, we have active radar seekers with turning thrusters, and these are missiles basically. And down here we got some shaped charges, so we can penetrate deeply with variable thrusters and stuff like that. Laser beam riders too, to not get tricked by decoys, right? Well, very cool indeed. Will be interesting to see how it deals in how it's working in combat. I just love this type of plane with a propeller in the back here. I thought myself to make a couple of planes like this, so it will be really fun to see how this plane deals with it. That's actually made for the Army of Gmodism. A very cool design. Oh, we have a little spammer in top of here too. This is an armor piercing high explosive micro spammer. So this is, yeah, 300 RPM, pretty quick there too. And here we have Captain Y, the Army of Gmodism Captain Y. And he's made this absolutely beautiful plane. It looks super cool, and it is it's actually pretty cheap, 19,000 materials. I think it might, it's not the cheapest, it's the next cheapest. But it's also the craft that has the lowest firepower, so it will be interesting to see how much it delivers in practice. What it does deliver, however, is some beautiful engines. Look at these engines, they're absolutely gorgeous. I almost want to copy and steal those engines and use them on all sorts of planes. I think they look super cool. Yeah, I really like those engines. In any case, this has a very nice little cockpit. I think we have a little wider for Captain Y. We can access this cockpit pretty easily here, and we can sit in here, and you can see, if we just make the game play, we can just experiencing some cool action from within there, I think. And I like the text with the logo here and the exterior decorations. It's looking very nice. But what does it pack? Well, it's packing APS. We're also packing some sticky flares here on the side, so that's cool. And we're even packing a harpoon. Okay, so it's gonna harpoon the enemies and drag them with them and just shoot. And we have some 500mm guns here. So we have EMP. We have something called dive frag. That's cool. EMP there. And here we have frag internal, so AP frag. Very interesting mix, and as you can see, I think that these are probably not diff guns, right? These are actually autoloaders. So this is like a regular APS bomber. That's gonna be very interesting to see. It's easy to get the high firepower rating by using diff guns, but here we have actual autoloaders, so this can do whatever it does all day. I just love that we have my face here with the Army of Gmodism logo popping in here, so this is like the face of death. And as you can see, we have some pretty cool. I tried to make it look a little bit creepy, so hopefully I succeeded. Any case, Captain Y has made a beautiful model. It's gonna be very interesting to see it in combat. And our last participant is this beautiful design here, and this is the AoG submission play by Straight American Imperialist, who's built this rubber covered thing. So I suppose this will make it less susceptible to bumping into things, so that it doesn't get just crumpled by having contact with stuff. And here we have another APS one, so this is probably dealing a lot of damage, 500mm. What type of guns do we have in here? We got high explosive. Wow, high explosive frag. And it's probably shooting him pretty quickly, right? Yeah, no, 200. Okay, this one is super slow, man, and this one is super fast. Okay, so this gun powers an armor-piercing shell with a pen-depth fuse, and the other one is just pure payload. They have the same size of the barrel, so it will be looking really funny when this guy shoots, because when the shots are popping in here, I'm sure we're gonna see the shell speed difference. So we got some variable thrusters, a lot of fins, and frag turning thrusters too. Oh, well, that's some really quick and adaptable missiles, I believe. And as we can see here, we got one turns and the other predicting guidance they both got, so they should be hitting pretty regularly. Well, we got some notes here. Actually, we have not a few notes, but a lot of notes. This is, by the way, the thing that this was based on. So this is a little cheaper thing. Submission's ancestor, okay plane, but doesn't have the cost that it required for this particular challenge, and it doesn't perform all the tasks. So this plane is unnamed at the moment. Well, that's fine. It's supposed as an Alpha Strike supporting arm, or a small craft smasher thing bomber. It has 2 5mm diff guns. Okay, diff guns. One shooting a simple high explosive frag log hurts your soul. Yeah. The other shooting an armor piercing high explosive to kill targets and lighter armor. Also has 4 medium missiles for sustained damage. Additionally, it has 1 torpedo for light anti-submarine sustained damage. Ooh, I think I missed that. Although diffs are entirely capable of anti-submarine, just inaccurate. Sure, due to detection, that makes sense. Additionally, the plane mostly runs on 2 small cruise custom jet engines that consume low resources and move the plane at about 45 meters per second. It additionally has a large interjector custom jet engine that activates only in combat, which uses a stupid amount of fuel, but brings the plane to about 115 meters per second. I also, in my genius, added a speed bar at the front of the plane to hold a large pitch controller. Okay. And protect the plane from collisions. I end up adding detection to this bar, and it gives some armor. Okay, interesting. Speed bar. That's cool. So that's some smart setup going on here, and I'm sure a lot of people do have really smart setups on their builds, and we of course are gonna detect and check them out when we're actually testing the crafts in different scenarios. Then they will be apparent. But for the ones of you who has submitted texts for me to read, I thought it was good manners to actually read the text aloud for the video, since you've written it for me, so that's really appreciated. Give some backstory and stuff. So basically there we have this ship. Let's see where we can have... Oh, there is the torpedo. Very cool. These are all the bombers lined up for the first iteration of the Army of Gmodism trials. And by the end of this, we will find the superior build in terms of design and efficiency, and they will be promoted in the Army of Gmodism, because you know that anyone can join the Army of Gmodism. You'll just need to join the Discord and self-assign yourself to the Matros 3rd class role. And that's the easiest way to become a member of the Army of Gmodism. Another way is of course to become a commissioned officer directly. And that's Patreon. So huge thanks to our commissioned officers again. You're just making my content creation life a lot easier. In any case, I'll see you next time. This is your host Gmodism, and we will be checking out these different bombers in the trials episodes coming up, where we will be testing different parts of the ships and different situations. And there we are in the planning room. So, huge thanks again to you guys, and thanks to all of you who are watching this. Hope you liked this video, and remember to leave a like and be sure to check out the coming episodes in this little series. I'm gonna give you a playlist for that too. In any case, thanks a lot for watching. This is the Lord High Admiral in the Army of Gmodism, officially signing out. AoG Invictus.